Hola, mi amigos. ¿Cómo estás? Yo, Tony Travels here. It's been a while. It's been a while. I thought I would just make a post and tell you guys what I'm up to, where I've been. So I am in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Chiang Mai, Thailand. And yeah, shit, what's it been? 10 months since I made my last videos. My last video I made was, I think, something cringe like how to get a date in the Philippines. Uh, so now I am here. What have I been up to? So after I made that video, I went back to Canada. I went back to Canada and I stayed with my parents for a little while. Tried to reconnect with my family. Attempted to make reconnect with my friends. Man, being away for a year from your family at a time can be quite difficult. Well, I'll get into that. I'll get into that. The digital nomad lifestyle. So right now I'm in my hotel here in Chiang Mai. It's a place called, well, actually I won't share where I'm at just in case my stalkers want to find me. So I went home. You can see that I've stopped vlogging. I haven't vlogged in almost a year. And some people have been messaging me like, "Hey Tony, when are you going to make another travel video?" I don't know because honestly, what am I doing now? I'm in Chiang Mai. I'm chilling. I'm working on a new project that I have. I'm actually writing a science fiction novel, and I'm doing my coaching job. I got a job as a coach, as a dating and relationship coach for men and women. So that's what I do. I talk to men and women about their relationship struggles, whether they want to get a girlfriend or, if with the women, it's usually because their relationship isn't going the way they want it to, and they need some guidance. And for men, it's usually that they've already lost their lover and they need some guidance. So I'm doing that for money at the moment, but in my spare time, I'm working on a science fiction novel called, and the title is called Slaves, and it's about a 16-year-old boy who has a haptic AI suit that he wears that allows him to interface with virtual reality and augmented reality, and he can talk to it. He named it Slave because he's 16 and he thought that would be funny. And he lives in a dystopian skyscraper called the Mall. It's a skyscraper that has like 300 or 400 floors. He lives on floor 63. He's never really seen above floor 63, only floor 64. Never really seen that far below it. Nobody knows what's on the outside. The world has been destroyed. And he basically lives in a small cement room with his virtual reality suit named Slave, and he plays video games all day. He has a job as a prompt approval expert. So, say you're talking to your AI and you're like, I want to see a pink elephant, and it gives you a rhinoceros. So he lays in virtual reality, he goes, oh, that's not an elephant, that's a rhinoceros. And he does that for a couple hours a day, and then he plays video games and jerks off to AI 3D virtual reality pornography. And then there's a terrorist attack. He has to choose between reality and the virtual world, and it's sort of this really poignant message that I wanted to convey to the world. I got this idea when I was in Mexico City a few years ago. I was walking downtown Mexico City, and if you've ever been there, the streets are really big. There's a lot of pedestrians, and everyone was bumping into each other because everyone had their smartphones in their hands, and they were walking around like this and bumping into each other. I mean, like thousands of people, and everyone was looking at their phones, and I felt so frustrated by this. Not the fact that people were bumping into each other, but just that I've seen the world change. I'm in my 40s, and I've seen it go from a time when people used to call each other to hi skin northerners, make some videos again. Yeah, man, I think I will. I'm doing great, thanks. I hope you're doing good. So I was in Mexico City, and because everyone was on their phone, and I felt so disconnected from humanity at this point. I felt really upset about this. I still do, especially when I go into a hotel or a hostel and everyone's just sitting around on their phones. And there used to be in hostels you would have, a big TV or something, and everybody would sit around on beanbags and watch movies together. I really miss that. I love that. Or, there would be games nights or social activities people would do together. And now everyone's just on their phone. And so I felt really disconnected and sad. And I thought, well, I can go on Instagram and say, you should all get off your phone. Meanwhile, I'm on my phone all the time too. And then I had a better idea. How about I write a novel about this, a sci-fi novel about a future where we've given all of our freedom and all of our privacy away for entertainment and comfort, right? That's what we're doing. Entertainment, never being bored, and convenience and comfort. We want to be safe, we want to be fed, we want to be entertained. But in the meanwhile, we're going to give away all of our freedom and all of our privacy. And we're just going to disconnect from each other and just live in this virtual world. So I said, okay, what if he had a suit that he could feel? So if somebody punches you in virtual reality, you can feel it. And what if you could talk to your AI? And I started writing this before ChatGPT came out. Hi, Ria K27. That sci-fi novel sounds enthralling. Well, thank you. I've been working on it for 3 years. So what if you could feel everything? So even in virtual reality, if you got punched, it would hurt, right? So in this dystopian world, there's a controlling force called the Union. And the Union, they're sort of like the government of the mall. The dystopian skyscraper is called the mall. They can control the suits. So the suits could even kill you, but only if they allow it to, if the humans allow it to. The AI can't hurt humans. So this is a way to control the people, right? You lock them in your room. You tell them you can't take your mask off outdoors because there's pathogens. It's dangerous. Don't interact with each other. Wear these masks. But you get all the video games and all the pornography and all the fast food that you want. You just can't leave your apartment unless we tell you to. And and in this society, the users, they're called the users, they all submit to this. And Victor, he gets frustrated with this after a while, just from being so disconnected. And one day the door opens and it says, you have a doctor appointment. His AI tells him, you have to go upstairs and go see the doctor. And on the way there, he's seeing other users who are floating around, and they're like penguins and robots, because they can be anything they want. Because if you have your cell phone like this, you can see anything you want. It's like Pokemon Go, right? But that's what the whole world is going to be like. So his world is gray, dystopian cement. But yet, when he wears his mask, he can see flowers, he can see mountains, he can see nature, he can see all these things. But he can even feel the warmth of the sun, the virtual sun. He can feel everything, but it's not real. And so people who don't have suits, you can't even see them. They're just blurred out blobs. They're called mutes. They're mutes. And so he sees this mute, and the mute is at the elevator to go up to the next floor. The mute's trying to talk to him, and he's like, I got to take my mask off. And his AI is saying, no, Victor, do not take your mask off. Do not take your mask off, because there's pathogens. If you do that, you're going to have to go back into quarantine. He says, I don't care. So he takes his mask off, and it's this beautiful girl. And she's saying, hey, look, I can't go up to the next floor because I don't have a suit. I'm not allowed. Can I hitch a ride with you? I'll give you this fruit. And she has a fruit. He says, I don't know, man. I could get in trouble and everything. She's like, come on, but she's really beautiful. He's never touched like a real girl before. He's only jerked off to anime girls in VR. So he says, fine, let's go. And so the only way to go up is if she squeezes onto his body. And then they go up this elevator, which takes like an hour, and they're talking, and he's getting really turned on and attracted to this girl. When he gets to the top, he goes to see his doctor, and there's a terrorist explosion. There's an attack on the Union. And this is where his adventure begins, because he realizes there's like a civil war brewing between the people who have control of the technology, the users who are locked in the rooms in virtual reality, and the reality of actual people who don't have this technology, who are starving, they're fighting, they're in a terrible situation. So he gets caught between these two worlds. And that's the plot of my book. And I finished the first draft yesterday. It only took me 3 years. I started this book in 2022. And I was getting kind of sad because I took a year off. I lost my confidence. This will be my third novel I've written. And then a few months ago, I said, okay, enough. I'm going to stop working on this coaching stuff, and I'm going to finish this novel, even though it's costing me money. I'm very happy to say the first draft is done. That's what I've been doing. That's why I haven't been YouTubing. The travel thing, I've already explained why I stopped doing travel videos, but I'll tell you a funny story. I was in Thailand the other day, And there's a hostel across the street from the guest house I was staying in. This is a small town in northern Thailand, very popular with tourists. It gets really cold at night, and next door they had a campfire. And so I walked over to this campfire uh, to get warm. I wanted to get warm. And there's a bunch of backpackers sitting around this campfire. And this girl, she's staring at me like really funny, like this. She goes, "Do I know you?" And I said, "Oh, well, sometimes I come to this hostel to stand by the campfire. Maybe you saw me last night." She goes, "No, I know you." And her boyfriend was like, "Yeah, we know you." And I said, "Well, maybe you go to this coffee shop in the morning." They're like, "No, who are you?" And I said, "Do you watch YouTube?" And they're like, "Oh my God, you're Tony Travels." And I guess they've been researching the Philippines. And so they're like, "We watched all your videos on the Philippines. Oh my God, you're amazing. You're the best. You're the coolest guy in the world. Can we get a selfie?" So we're doing the selfie thing. And this happens sometimes. Once in a while, I'll be walking around and someone will look at me like this, and I go, "Oh, you watch YouTube, right?" So anyway, they were saying, "Yeah, you got to make more videos. Your videos are so good." I'm like, "Yeah, well, YouTube's a frustrating platform to make videos on. It is. It's very frustrating. These days to make money as a travel vlogger, you got to go hang out with the Taliban or you got to talk shit about India. These are the things people do to get noticed these days. And I don't want to spread this kind of negativity. And I don't want to live in fucking Afghanistan. So I kind of put travel vlogging aside to work on these other things that are a bit more fulfilling at the moment. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. I'm doing great. I'm healthy. I'm in Thailand. For now, I'm going to Bali next month with my mother. I invited my mother. She was going to come to Thailand, but they changed the visa in Thailand, so you can't keep doing border runs anymore. If you do that, you could end up in jail. So I had to go somewhere else. I was just thinking of going to India, but then my mom wanted to come travel, and I thought, where's an easy place? Because she loved Thailand. Okay, I'll take her to Bali, which I'm sure will also love. Bali is what Bali is. People, talk shit about Bali. Oh, it's over touristed and all this. And yeah, it is, but it's also an amazing mystical place, an amazing country, province of Indonesia. And hopefully I'll see more of Indonesia. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to come tell you guys I'm okay. I'm working on a science fiction novel. Maybe I'll make some more videos, but who wants to see more videos of Bali? Who wants to see another video of Chiang Mai, Thailand? I'm not doing anything really interesting that YouTube would really promote, right? If I was like solo in the ghettos of fucking this third world country in Latin America as those do well, but I don't really feel like climbing around in the ghettos, hanging out with sicarios and just to get views on YouTube. So, I put all this effort into videos and they were getting like 300 views or 1,000 views. And for me, it just wasn't worth the time. But, I know a lot of you guys message me sometimes and say you miss me and you want to see videos. And I appreciate that. I really do. Sometimes I cry at night because I miss you so much, and then I touch myself and, yeah. How have you all been? I don't know. What do you want to see a video of anyway? Like me walking around the streets of Chiang Mai, going to coffee shops and working on my book. I thought about starting another YouTube channel about writing books, and I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to create new social media to promote my novel when it's done, because I'll be a science fiction author. And yeah, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to get an audience for books. Like, who even reads books anymore other than me? I don't know. Right now, I'm reading a few books. I'm reading Game of Thrones, because I've never read Game of Thrones. I've only seen the show. And I'm also reading The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, because I found it in a hostel. And so I read books. Do you read books? You should. When you read books, they've studied this, and it actually lights up parts of your brain that nothing else does. They put like electrodes on people's heads, and when they read great literature, specifically great literature like War and Peace, Charles Bukowski, Catcher in the Rye. You know, it lights up parts of your brain that no other media can affect. So think about that. It's like going to the gym, but you're never working out your abs. You're only working out your chest over and over and over. That's what you do to your brain when you don't read great books, things that take effort. I find YouTube to be a very low effort platform. The same with TikTok and Instagram. I've been posting on TikTok. I got a few videos with almost 200,000 views, and they're always of boobs, girls dancing that I see. You know, I saw some Malaysian, Burmese girls dancing at a food festival, and I filmed that. It got 170,000 views. Um, I hate TikTok. TikTok's such a waste of fucking time. The thing with these social media platforms is that they're low effort content. It doesn't take very much effort to make a video. Like, yeah, okay, you're driving a motorcycle through the mountains in a third world country. It's not hard. It's hard to come up with the concept that's going to get you views, sure, right? It's difficult to develop the skill to be able to talk in front of the camera and know how to make a thumbnail and all this stuff. I'm not saying it's easy, not to shoot down any of you successful YouTubers. I love you guys. I love YouTube. But it's still like a very low effort art form. Something like being in a band and writing an album, not a song that you put on Spotify, a whole album from beginning to end with art and lyrics, you know, a great album. This is art. This is something that's going to give you a big reward. Things like video games, low effort, low reward. You get a little dopamine hit. Making a TikTok video, low effort, little dopamine hit. Writing a novel that takes you 4 years, very rewarding. Very, very rewarding. Working out at the gym until you have an amazing body, it takes you 2, 3 years. Watching your diet, very rewarding. Doing spiritual things, going on a meditation retreat for 20 days and not talking for 20 days. I haven't done this yet, but my friend that just did that, and he said it was very rewarding. Things that take a lot of effort fulfill you, you know? And you expect a reward from that, whether that's respect or just a feeling of fulfillment. You know, that's what I'm chasing. That's what I'm chasing right now. Hopefully, after I finish this novel, I would love it to make me some money and to help me with my writing career. That would be great. But if it doesn't matter. It's still something very rewarding. And I think you should all work on doing big things, building a house rather than renting a apartment. You know, like learn something that really changes who you are from the inside. This is what's going to make you feel happy and feel fulfilled. You know, building a family, I guess you could say, could be an art form in a way. But that's what I've been up to, trying to do big things. And I love all you guys. And maybe I'll start making some more videos when I can think of something interesting to do. Or maybe I'll just hop on and chat with you once in a while. Until next time.